So recently someone asked me a question and I didn't know how to answer them, so I said, let's discuss it. How far should your parents be involved in the relationships you share with your friends and with your spouse? So, welcome, Gloria, Kathy. How are we doing today?
I'm very fine.
You all seem very dull. Are we okay?
Why are you attacking our parents?
No, I'm not attacking parents. Parents are very pertinent people in our lives, very important people. And they are also a representative of a generation that probably you may want to model or not. But at the end of the day, how far should they be involved in your relationship? Is it positive all the time? Is it negative? Is it okay? Should they be all the way through, like every nitty gritty issues you run to them?
There should be a limit.
All right. Yes, Kathy?
Yeah. When it comes to my friends, I think they can be involved all the way. But when it comes to my relationship, man, mommy, who's mentioned man? Who's on my man? And our problems, they should take a seat and relax. Why? And only come in when I go out of my way to go and ask for help. That is the only time they should come in.
I think the question was, when should you actually ask your parents for help?
Probably when I am failing in my marriage. Let's say if I'm married. Or probably when I am failing in my relationship. What I mean is, let's say I am having a certain problem and me and my partner, we are failing to agree on certain things. And
you need some mommy advice.
Exactly. And I believe before we even think of going to maybe my mom or maybe my dad or anybody, or maybe his parents, within ourselves, we should sit and see if we can, if that little issue or big, however big or small it is, if we can't resolve it on our own, then that's the only time we should think of consulting our parents.
Okay, now for me, and I'll say this boldly and bluntly, with the love that our parents share with us and how much they love us, the last thing I would ever want to do to my mom or dad, usually now as a girl, it's usually mom in certain situations, is to put her in a place where she has to decide on a matter between me and my spouse. Because we shall resolve that, but the memory of that event will be a long-lasting thing in their mind. He will always view my partner in the lens of, that guy, he did this to my daughter.
I know.
And I think we should really utilize third parties that are like neutral parties, like counselors. Utilize them. Maybe if you have a way of getting advice from your parents that does not involve you tearing your partner down, which usually when you're angry, you're coming for blood. Yeah, if you have a way of telling, mom, what would you think if, someone did this and this?
You could also do it this way, probably take their advice in a disguise of maybe, say, a friend is going through ABCD.
They always tell. Parents are smarter than us, darling. They always tell.
I think parents, you see, as we grow up or as we shift generations change, there is a way our parents did things. There is a way they acted in spaces, in situations back in the day. Because, and I do not think, and there is also how their mothers raised them. So they are kind of thinking, if that age, if that period, if that time,
it applied to
them in that space. Now, some of us, you cannot bring your parents in a space of right now. You get. You can't even think about it. Because if you ever think about it, every time you sit with your mom down and she is trying to advise you, listen to the concepts she is using. She's using her generation concept.
Omusajja mfukamirire.
Now I'm going to tell you a brief story. One of my friends was dating this guy, and this guy was drinking a little too much. You get. And then when she talked to us, we told her, you guys are just dating. And I remember that time I sat her down with my boss, because my boss is a counselor. My boss then, but she's a counselor. So sat her down, and I was seated there in that conversation, and she said one thing, and it never left my mind. What you can contain now, trust you will contain much more than that. What you can deal with. So the point was, whatever a man or a woman is doing in a relationship, it triples, it multiplies in marriage. Because there is a lot of comfortability in marriage. There is the comfort zone that comes with marriage. So things that are always going
I've arrived. Yes. This was the destination.
So if your boyfriend is just drinking right now, just bear no. If he drinks now and disappears for 2 days, it's going to be 2 months, 1 year, when he's somewhere drinking. You get. So if you cannot deal with it right now, let it go. So she went and had a mini break with her guy. So the guy called the mother. So now that's again the thing I don't want. You guys, if you are dating someone, why do they have your mother's phone number? Another thing that's it. So he called the mother and told her, by the way, your daughter has abandoned me because I went out to drink with friends. The mother called the girl, and you guys, I was seated there in that conversation, abused her. That's why you're not getting married. That's why the man is not committing to you. Why are you just chucking him over drinking with his friends? A man has to drink. Eh? For me, wasn't your father? Your father used to drink. He would even come back home and beat me. Did I ever leave him? He even went there and married other women. Did I leave him? He went and did all those things. He came back. He's here in my home. I am married. He is all mine. Now, how will this? You guys, I sat through that conversation.
I am not my mother.
I sat through that conversation and I saw her little precious heart break. And I told her after that conversation, I told her we are not her parents and we don't have to do
everything that they did.
If she could contain that bullshit, it's not you. It's not you. That's not your cross.
It's not even about the fact that they would contain that stuff. There are things our parents say they handled so well, but on our side there was spillover as children. Like there are things maybe on the side of mothers. I think as a girl there is a way when you're past adolescence and you're now gaining your senses, you start seeing things a bit quite more clearly and you become so empathic to your mother. Or if, you now get what they're dealing with. And then you start seeing them clearly in those zones. And then you start seeing that there are some behaviors they're tolerating from your dad, but they become a spillover on kids. Like, you become angry. You become an angry bird terrorizing your own child.
Exactly. They would take it out on us. We were like the shock absorbers. Yes. And we didn't need that.
And in as much as they pride in, I did well, he stayed. But you are really taking out your anger
on us. We helped you deal.
I don't want my to go.
We are supposed to be paid.
Sit through the worst, the good, the bad and the ugly, pretending you're taking it well, yet you didn't.
You did not. So I do not support our parents to be involved. And she took back the guy. She actually did. She followed her mother's advice.
Have this habit of tying us on people that were not meant to be.
Yes, but you just see what brings that again.
They nearly tied me on some. Okay, I'm not.
Do not make sure unless a man has made it official. I don't think don't make them meet your parents, because when they meet your parents, they do these little amazing things. Now our mothers are women. By default, women, we like money. We like material things. So if your boyfriend is buying things for your mom, sending her money, checking on her, your mother is only going to see that side of him. Yeah, so if you walk to her and you tell her, by the way, he slapped me, he'll ask you, what did you do? Why did you provoke him?
Now,
exactly.
When it comes to violence, my mom has a line. Even when she's advising all of us, because for her she has 5 daughters, we are 5 girls. When she's giving you general advice, she's the one person that I re-echo her words. If you are having an argument with your husband, with your spouse, and he just raises his hand, and he's like, what whether it reaches you or it doesn't reach you, next time it will walk
away.
And then the other reason as to why on a positive side where I would love me as a person, if I'm really interested in a person, and maybe them seeing call my parents ish or being maybe invited to family events. Parents have an eye for things we don't see. Yeah. My mom is a person who has predicted all my friends, and 10 years, 9 years down the road, I see what they said in a very sarcastic manner of
And trust me.
nayo omuwala omutima gwenga.
They'll be like, boy.
And then for you actually stretch over the friendship. It's after very many years when they do something and you're like, but wait, actually the time she came home, mom was like this person. No. So they have an insight, they have an eye for certain things.
It's okay to let them know the person,
but don't let them in so much. And also another thing that I have come to realize that when in relationships, usually every time you fight with your person, I think it's very paramount and important that you sit down, talk to your person, solve it. And I think we need to also learn how to use therapists and counselors as a better option, because if my man constantly hurts me and I report to my mom, be in your mother's shoes. How would you feel if your child comes and every day is complaining about a man? They are biased. They will not like him because they are hurting something that is very precious to them. So you guys, usually when you're done reporting and you guys get back on a better page, you know the both of you have moved on, but your mother has not moved on, and she's not about to move on, and she is never going to move on.
Not even about to let it go. Anyway, let's hold the thought right there. When we come back, I'm going to share a story with you guys that brought us to this topic. And we are going to help advise this person. I know we don't usually do this. We are not experts, but we are going to just have a conversation. You know, wherever you are, you can deduct, and choose what works for you and what doesn't. See you guys in a few. Alright, we'll be back from that short commercial break. So this girl, a friend of mine, I know her closely, and she had been dating this person for 9 years. By 9 years, I think it was a whole stretch from when we were like in senior 3 or 2. Throughout campus. Yeah, they are now married. But after their first, the introduction ceremonies and the likes, they started having very vigorous arguments. But what kept them sane altogether is the wedding, or the white wedding, and the Kwanjula were like 6 months apart. So in as much as they had that argument, there was a function they were arranging. So at the end of the day, it kind of kept them pivoted on what they wanted to do. So we go to church and all that happens. And after that, 2 months, 3 months into the marriage, everyone wants out.
The book says, yet you married him. Oh yeah.
No. This one was a different case, because for me, the first thing I studied psychology, guys. I'm a psychologist, certified.
Do you have a paper? Do you want to show us?
It's not here, but I'm certified. I actually sit down with people and yeah. So I asked her, when did she start seeing the changes?
The signs are always there.
No, listen, by the way, you're judging this story so fast. So we asked her, when did she start seeing the changes in this person? And she was like, after the Kwanjula. So the first thing you look out for, of course, psychologically, people react to things. People don't jump from anyone, become bad or what. So I asked her, what changed in your environment of living? What happened? What changes? Even if it's a very small and slight change, what happened? So when these guys were dating and knowing each other and all those things, they would like go out together. They would have fun together. They would come home together, drunk or what, but they are
Together.
So as she was being prepared for the Kwanjula, of course she visited the Senga, and the Senga talked to her and told her banange, kacholaba, false names Winnie, byobadengo kola, you have to change. You know, you have to show your man that you're now responsible. These things of you are going out with him, you spending money like that, yet you have to build your family, doesn't work. Now you have to settle into a wife. While you're the girlfriend, because it's time for you to be a wife. Sit home, make food for him. Make sure there is always supper. These are people who are used. Yeah, they would cook once in a while and together. They used to love cooking together when they did cook. Or when they went out, they had like a tradition of every Friday, like they would spend the weekend really having fun, and they would do takeaways. Then within the week, they would come home or prepare something fast but together. Like the thing was together. So now when she came from the Kwanjula, and also that whole bit of, you know, as Baganda, culturally, you have to respect your man. There is literally this gap between you and the guy. So she started picking all the advice that the Senga had given her and put it in what? In news. The guy would come back from home, she has already paired, should leave her work around 3 p.m. and the guy would come back at 5. So either way, whoever came home first, wait for me, we cook too. We decide what to eat together. Don't decide for both of us. Unless I've made a phone call or maybe I'm not coming. Or sometimes we'll be like, I'm going to be late, let me pick us, take away. But we just don't cook.
We just don't do things separately. Yes. We are in this together.
Yeah, that's what. And I think it was a very important thing to that guy. Yeah, so now first should get home 3 p.m., starts cooking, even cooking things the guy doesn't like. Cooking, preparing, the guy comes back, the food is already ready, served, and kneeling. And okay, that whole thing, it happened the first day and the guy laughed.
That's funny.
I was like, this is funny. Second day, he's not so amused. Third day, he told her, I don't know, I don't like this. But she just kept on at the back of her mind. She was like, Senga yangambian nifukachi.
Inshallah.
So she maintained that changes. Friday comes, the guy comes from work, he's like, hey, are you ready? Have you done your makeup? Like, should go do her makeup, what a dress. I tell you, no, go, yeah? Yeah. And she'll dress up and they go out. And she's like, no, I don't want to go out. I want to stay home today. So the guy went out alone. Yeah, it didn't take so long. He came back. So after a stretch of like a month or two, a gap started happening. And now they started feeling like this one is running their own space. The guy just drew away. He just kept quiet. He stopped talking. He became a robot. So they started arguing over the time. So when we sat down and were talking, I had already experienced the same situation with someone else. So in as much I may not have known what was going on in her marriage, my head at that point ran to the idea of this one has picked ideas that didn't work before to come and apply them in an already good thing instead of forming your own rhythm. So I told her, I realized she was not going to tell me the whole story, but from the hints she has told me, I picked a story of someone else and told her, and then I told her, sometimes in as much as Kali, there is a societal definition of wife responsibilities and what they should do.
Know your person.
Know your person. Your relationship is yours. Your marriage is yours. Your auntie's marriage is hers. So there's things she does for her guy.
For her, may not work for you.
Yeah. So when I had that narrative come off, I don't know whether she picked it and used the advice. I don't know whether she...
Have you followed up to see if they are now in a
I was
good
about
space?
to ask.
I don't know how to poke.
No, you have to poke. I think they had something amazing happening for them before the Senga talk, okay? It was beautiful because it's something we
Even
rarely
these singers,
get.
some of them, they just mislead us.
No,
But
it's
some of
very
these are not.
misleading.
She was coming from a good place.
But you see...
Some of them are coming from a good place, we understand, but some of these are already failing in their marriages. Why do you even stand telling me things to do in my own marriage?
You see, the thing is...
Still you're saying,
But you see,
My dear Senga, my dearest Sengas, wherever you are, if I wake up and I'm about to get married, which is next year, God please help me. Temumbulida, allow me drive my thing in my own way.
I've attended a wedding before of one of my nephews, and
my dad gave a speech, and it was the most beautiful speech. And I will write it down one day so that someone reads it out for me on his behalf. So he said, he told him, you have been to counselors, they have told you what to do in your marriage. You have been to priests, they have told you what to do in your marriage. You've listened to your aunties, you've listened to your parents, and you've seen all the marriages around you. And there is this whole knowledge everyone has told you about marriage. But one thing that I want you to take out is do not listen to everyone. Listen to your heart and your person's heart. Know your person. You have been in this relationship before without all these inputs. Stick to your root. He told them there is no manual. There is no manual, there is no handbook, and there is no direct path of a marriage. There's nothing like, you have to do this in marriage, you have to cook. So I remember he was telling her, it's like, if you have your 8 to 5 job, and you come home and you are retired, no one says, go to the kitchen and cook for your husband. You can basically tell your husband, tonight I'm exhausted. If you can't do takeaway or you can't cook for yourself a meal, I don't know. You get, like, just he told them, find your rhythm in your marriage and follow that rhythm. Do not follow what everyone is saying, because like you said, what works for you can never work for me. So he was telling them, your parents' marriage, your auntie's marriage, our marriage, all cannot work for you. You have to find your pace. You have to find your rhythm. And I hope they took it in, because for me, it made sense for me. I think most of us, when people are in relationships, they are amazing. And I've come to realize every time people get married, issues pop up. Because everyone is telling you how to act. Someone is telling you, cook your food like this. Simanya, kneel down. You have to. You get that kind of thing that you aren't doing. And I think that's the kind of, call it a culture shock. I think that's what happened to that guy. He was shocked. You know this person. You walk up in and you enter the house, you find luombo on the table. You're like, what happened to my person?
I know.
We are supposed to go out. You find her dressed in her, what's the name of those dresses?
Dira, dear, dira.
Dira. She is in a dira. You get, it's like a culture shock. So like, don't shock your partners. Like, find your rhythm. Do by it whatever everyone says around you. As long as for you in your marriage,
it's nice.
as long as for you you're happy in your marriage and it's working for you, I think stick to it. Because always, even though you cook that luomba and serve it, you'll find another person who will tell you, by the way you're cooking, serving that luomba is not nice. You're supposed to serve it when you're lying on the floor, not sleeping. You know, life flatter.
Calling your man different names. Sabasaja, Kabaka, This one time a friend of mine, you know how much I love nicknames, eh? And I really call someone Uncle Bro Bichi. This person was like, my name is this and this. I don't like being called names. So I continuously went on. And one time you're like, you know what? I'm disturbed. Why are you calling me all those names? And for me, it's a joke. Like, it's not something I mean. But munange, people love their things and know what they want.
Yeah, people know what they want.
For me, in conclusion, parents are pertinent people in our lives. Parents are very important. They have knowledge. They can share with us. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, back in the day, someone would find you a partner. Like your senga would get you a guy. So it was her work to learn everything about that person and then come train you to be the best wife to that person. But now, you and this person met where your parents were not. You have made it work to the point where they felt like, I want to spend the rest of their life, I want to spend the rest of my life with you. So it's important that you maintain who they chose. Not a soft copy or a battered copy or version of what you hope or think it should look like. It's important. And also having check-in conversations of, by the way, bangambia, you know, my mother told me Sunday school work.
Being a good wife is not scripted.
Yeah. And that is all from us, lest we forget. Namaste restaurant.
Oh,
The good food.
the cocktails.
It's that Kasling. Kasling what?
There is that castling thing. It's on their cocktail menu. When I get the name in the next episode, I'll let you know. But it's a very nice cocktail. You should come and try it out. Thank you guys and see you next time.
Bye.